Here's something a little bit new for the channel. This is a Thunderbolt 3 professional docking station by a company called OWC Otherworld Computers. They sent this over to me a few weeks ago, and I've been trying to figure out the best way to position it, try to give you a full review on it. I did use it, I tested it out. I tested out most of the ports, not all, because I'm not really the best target for this type of product. But what I'm going to do instead of a full review is just walk you through it, tell you what you get, and a little bit about my experience with it. So first of all, this is very well made. This is aluminum, and it feels like a professional's tool, and it should. It does retail for $300. You can get it at OWC's website, and I wasn't able to find it anywhere else, but it's very well constructed. It doesn't take up too much space. Here you can see it next to the only thing I have within arm's reach, which is a Xbox 360, or rather Xbox One controller. So it's not giant by any means. And let me give you a little tour of the ports. So first of all, you get a USB 3.1 port, a CFast 2.0 port, and SD card 4.0 port. This is all on the front. The sides of the device don't have any ports. Here's the right side and here's the left side. And then on the back is where the magic happens. My goodness, what do we have here? So first of all, external SATA port. Maybe wondering what that's for. Well, if you connect a external SSD, for example, over SATA, you get really high throughput. All right, two more USB 3.1 ports, a full-sized Ethernet port. We'll come back to this switch in a moment. A Kensington type lock. I don't know if it's actually Kensington because there's no branding. And then you get two additional Thunderbolt ports. Okay, so this one can output up to 60 watts, this one up to 15 watts, and these distinctions are important. We'll get back to that in a moment. And a full display port. And of course power, proprietary power plug. This particular display port, this is important. Most USB-C docking stations or USB-C hubs, they don't give you display port. Instead, what you get is HDMI. And most of them, they only output up to 60 hertz. So if you connect a monitor over through HDMI through that USB-C hub, you're not going to get the full capability of your monitor. So if you're a gamer, or maybe you're a video producer, and you need to get above 60 frames per second, you wouldn't be able to, but with this you can. Okay, so back to these. The reason that there's this distinction is that, of course, depending on how much daisy chaining you plan to do with devices, this is where it's important to know that you have 60 watts available. So, for example, you can daisy chain, or you can connect, I should say, dual 4K displays, or even a single 5K display. But in the case of these USB-C ports, they are limited to 60 hertz at those resolutions. Now, I was able to get 144 hertz off of the display port with my Razer Raptor monitor, but that was not through USB-C. That was through a full-size display port, just like I would plug it into my GPU. Okay, this switch. This is a fan. It's recommended by OWC that the fan is always running when it's in use. That's okay. I think that makes a lot of sense when you have something with this capability. It's the requirement, so you got to do it. The challenge is that unless you really have a need for this type of external docking station, so for example, if you're going to leverage, let's say, 3 or more of these ports simultaneously, it's a small price to pay to have these fans running. It's a small hum, it's not very loud, but it is present. If you're only using, say, Ethernet, or just one of these ports or two of these ports, this is not the dock for you. And we should also include the front here. So even if you're, these card slots, I use SD card slots all the time because I'm recording these videos and then I have to copy them over. I have a solution today. I wouldn't buy this to replace that solution because I don't need this entire dock for this one thing. And then if I did, let's say, for example, since I have this now, thanks to OWC for sending it over, it wouldn't make a lot of sense for me to only be using this for the SD card slot and then have those fans running using this switch in the back. You can turn it off when your PC's asleep, but you got to remember to flip the switch. So that's my way of saying, if you're a professional, I would imagine that this is a really great solution for you because you can expand your I/O And not only that, you could take advantage of the daisy chaining capabilities with these USB-C, especially the 60 watt, and the full DisplayPort output. I can relate to a few of these things, such as the extra USB-C ports, USB ports are always helpful. External SATA is a great solution for external drives, especially if you have a laptop and not a desktop that you can easily manipulate, and the full-size Ethernet plus the SD card in the front. But my use case, my needs don't align very well with this product. Not to say the product isn't great. I think, let's get a couple things out of here. Everything I tested on this worked great. So no limitations. I think for your $300, you're getting a really solid device, and certainly feels well made too, which is always helpful when you're spending that kind of money on something like this. So, all right, that is a tour of the OWC Thunderbolt 3 Pro Dock. Again, $300. You can get it from their website. I'll drop a link. It is not an affiliate link. We don't do that over here. And thanks to OWC for sending it over. All right, thanks a lot, guys.